Welcome, bienvenue. Welcome to another Portfolio Extension podcast. What apparently feels like at least the millionth podcast. We've done a few of them. With my learned friend, my rhythm pal, Valerie Merrill, Learning Development Specialist.
Hi.
And today's special guest is Joe Scott, who is a commercial branding photographer. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Hi, thank you, thank you.
Hurrah, hurrah. Now,
Welcome.
I've nicknamed today's show The Importance of Personal Branding in the Commercial World. But frankly, it's about showing up in a way that people take you seriously. What do you think of that?
Yeah, I think I would concur with that. People sometimes don't like the concept of personal brand and having to put a personal brand out there, but everybody has a personal brand, and it's really important that they know that and that they do something about it.
I mean, to me, it's almost like the way in which you appear to people, if it's consistent or if there's a level of consistency to it, is the way in which they assume you're always going to appear. So if you convey a certain mood or mode, dare I say it, that's who you are. And it often, and I know, please don't come at me in the comments, but if you approach people in a certain way and it's off, they'll assume that's your personality. So it's about kind of showing best face, I suppose. Is that right?
Yeah, I think so. There's that expression, isn't there? You never get a second chance to make a great first impression. And I think that's really, really important for people to hold kind of in the forefront of their minds. But what you're talking about is the next impression after that and after that and after that. But my job is to create that great first impression. And in this day and age, people come across you on the internet, first of all, usually rather than in person, like in the old days.
I mean,
So if
I'm all about the LinkedIn, and what amuses me is last year, 85% of initial introduction work was done through the mobile phone. All right,
Ah.
so they hit you first there, and because of the swipe right, swipe left culture that we have these days, it's no, no. But Val, yeah, I mean, you spend a lot of your life wrangling humans while teaching them new information, and see, it's all about the impression you make, right?
I think there's a credibility and a trust exercise, which is partly confidence, but it's also knowing your stuff, knowing what you're talking about, and being authoritative, as we lovingly say. But I think conveying that with Joe, conveying it in a photograph, or as we say, branding photographs. You were an early adopter of this, weren't you? The branding photograph, the branding marketing phase.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, obviously, commercial photographers have been around for years, but in my journey, I've been a photographer for 20 years now, professional photographer for 20 years. And as I went through my kind of progressing in my business, I realized that, from a marketing perspective, personal branding and branding photography is so important. And over the years, I've noticed that that bandwagon has grown and people are now jumping on it. But yeah, I was, as you say, an early adopter.
Uh, c Can I ask you a silly question? In fact, I'm feeling a bit mischievous, if you don't mind. So when an executive comes up to you, you don't need to know anything about their brand before you start picking up a camera, do you? Do you really?
Oh, that's like a red rag to a bull. Um, People do say to me, "Oh, just come and take some photos."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my response is, "Well, that's not what I do." Because it's not just about pretty pictures, because anyone can do that. We're all able to do that. We've all got one of these in our pocket and are able to create something that looks half decent. It's
Yeah.
actually about making sure that you can create an image that is right for that person and connects with who they want to connect with.
So is it about composition then, as much as having the right lens and the exquisite lighting and the shiny objects and so on? Is it?
It No, it's not about any of that. It's about communication.
Ah,
It's
okay.
about
Right.
communicating and understanding. And also, for me, it's about having an understanding of marketing, I suppose. But yeah, how best to present that person. Why are we doing it? What's the purpose of it? It's all about that. It's not about any technical stuff at all, in my opinion.
I mean, I
I
was
was going
reading online actually that commercial photographers do something called a pre-shoot discovery process. So rather than it sounding like it's something to do with giant pandas and green shoes, what does that mean, or what does yours look like?
So, yeah, I think a lot of people do that, and for me, it's an essential part of creating a set of images that are going to work for that person, business, brand. Mine, I call a creative call because I think that's the best way to describe it from my perspective. So I'm trying to ask lots and lots of questions, get the client to communicate to me what it is they do, who they are, why they're doing this,
Mm.
how they're going to use the images. And then I use kind of word association to then creatively conjure up visual images that I'm then going to create for them.
Well,
Aha. It's a bit like my training needs analysis forms that people fill in.
yeah, sounds very similar. I mean, Valerie, when was the last time you went for headshots for when you were working with an organization?
Oh, God, a while ago, a long time ago, and that
But
actually brings me.
when you went through that, did they ask further questioning, or is it just sit here, snap, next?
No, she was very careful about positioning and looking up at the camera to get that, get a good frame, I suspect. And she had a particular venue that she went to. So I was one of several on the day, as it were. It was a group shot, group shoot.
Right.
But it worked out incredibly well. But that brings me actually to another point, Joe. It's a case of because some people seem to change their photographs quite a lot.
Yes.
Is there a kind of recommendation of, if you look so different now, I think you should, because I see it all the time on LinkedIn. People haven't
Oh my
changed their
goodness.
photographs
Or
through the time.
or worse still, Valerie, when they haven't, and then you encounter them and they look like, hang on, that was you 30 years ago, right?
That's what I say to people. You may love the photo that you've got of yourself, but it might have been 20 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or even a year ago. But people change. They
Oh
change
god.
their hair. They lose weight. They gain weight. They reinvent themselves. And we all get older. So, I mean, I know you don't, Gareth, obviously.
Well, no,
Obviously.
I do change my hat every so often, it's true.
Yeah, it's all about, as you said, it's about when somebody meets you,
Yeah.
they don't want to be going into a meeting room and going, well, where's the person I was meant to meet and who are you?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the worst form of dating. So, look, Joe, what is the difference between that standard corporate headshot and true executive branding photography? Can you encapsulate that for me?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, well, there's lots of different types of photographers. So I would break it down a little bit further than that. Headshots, they kind of do what they say on the tin, but you can have headshots in a studio or in a studio type setting, like a mobile
Right.
studio, where there's the flashing lights and it is quite static. You can have headshots, which what I do, which is using natural light and on location. So I'm really using the textures and colors of a background that I find wherever it is that I go. But you do get the kind of the what it says on the tin, the headshot.
No,
Brand,
we've got some examples of that.
Yeah, we
well,
do.
we've got examples of branding photography because I was going to come to say that branding photography is
Okay.
different.
Okay.
So branding photography is showing more about who you are and what you do, and it communicates
All right.
much more.
Let's bring one up, right? And
Right.
if you could draw our attention, let's
Okay.
look through your eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first one.
Okay, so you've got a kind of almost a before and after. They very kindly let me use the before image, which you'll see bottom left in black and white.
Is
Mhm.
that the same person?
Exactly, and she was the
Wow.
chief financial officer, CFO, and she had this photo which really didn't show who she really is.
Sorry, I thought she was a farmhouse wife.
Oh, bless her.
Oh,
Yeah, and
oh.
so
The
what?
frills.
Yeah, I know. And so what I did was I give advice on clothing, what to wear, and I found places to show the power of this amazing
Yeah,
woman.
yeah.
She looks
It's
powerful.
brilliant. She
That's
does,
a
absolutely.
very strong image.
Yeah,
Wow.
Mm.
yeah,
Wow, so that's a good example. We've got a couple more. Can we have a look?
yeah,
Is that all right?
absolutely. So here, I mean, again, so this is more kind of from a technical point of view. The black and white photo, similar to the last one, it's done in a studio. It's very static. There's not much personality, and there's no movement to it. So
No,
what
I would call it flat. I would call it
yeah,
flat.
yeah. And so what I was trying to do for all of these people, all the examples that you're going to see, is create images that give them space. You can see the space in this one,
Mm.
and also help them to get the right expression so that they are able to communicate visually who
Mm.
they are,
You've
what their
got
personality's like.
That's a proper Mona Lisa kind of expression there. I swear her eyes are following me around the room.
Yeah.
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 All right, we've got one more. Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I think again the expression for photos that speak volumes, that these photos do speak volumes compared to the one that was before me, by an
Yeah.
unnamed photographer.
Yep.
And even though she's got a nice smiley expression in the previous photo, the black and white photo that another photographer took,
Right.
yeah, she's actually a really serious person and, doing
Mm.
amazing things in this business. And so what I wanted to create was not just a cheesy blonde grinning person, but someone that has intent and purpose.
Right.
Depth. Lots of depth in those photos. All of them, in fact. You really see the person shining through. Thank you. Thank you,
No,
Joe.
but we've got one more actually, and then right at the end we've got like what I call the pack shot, which is really a Joe Scott. We're going to give you a little bit of a promo at the end, absolutely, but
Absolutely.
of course, and we should do. But I've got a question. The portfolio executive is a group of part-time or fractional executives. So why are you attracted to being part of that group?
Partly because I love meeting people. I love finding out about different businesses and getting involved in all sorts of different things.
Right.
You know, I did a marketing qualification a few years ago, just simply because I just want to expand my knowledge, expand my network, for want of a better word, but it's all about communicating with people and keeping that all alive for me.
Right. It is a very diverse group of people, and it is the Heinz 57 of groups of executives, because there is somebody there who is a specialist on almost every aspect of it. And it's really actually quite cheery to find someone who understands branding, because as a marketeer myself, it's critical these days. So let's jump back in, if you don't mind. We've got one here. Now
Oh,
that is
yeah.
like night and blooming day.
Mm.
Yeah, and again, Valerie, you said that the photographer that you had helped you to position yourself, and that's again one of the things that I do and help my clients to hold themselves in a way that is right for them and puts them in the best light. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's so important because, the others look as if you've, well, not quite been in a photo booth, but pretty similar, whereas yours look quite different. And actually, all of them are conveying this elevated person.
Well, it's interesting. This lady here, is she a CEO of some sort, or
She was a very highly regarded executive assistant of the CEO. So she really, kind of runs the shop in many ways.
Mm,
yeah,
mm,
but what she conveys to me is it makes me want to interact with her. She
Yeah.
looks like she's welcoming and
Oh,
interested, and that's great. Whereas the one on the right looks like she was nailed to a wall in the corner and told to stand still. It's not the same thing at all.
and the other thing that's really important is that all of these were from the same business. Each image looked
Really,
different. Yeah. So I found in the micro location around where they work different backdrops to suit each
yep,
person
yep.
that I felt reflected who they are and what they did.
I've got a hardish question for you, but you know, take it as you will. Have you ever had to challenge a client's perception of how they see themselves versus how they need to show up, and also perhaps even how they thought they actually were appearing?
Absolutely, every day of the week. It's really common. People hate having their photos taken. They think that they, are a certain way because it's that internal monologue. So what I do is I work out who they really are and how to portray that, and then I coach them through it. And sometimes I even tell them not. I don't only tell them how to sit, stand, and be. But I sometimes say, right, think about this. Think about this time,
Right.
so that that comes through the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good
Uh,
idea. So thinking, happy, wonderful thoughts. A bit like when you go to the doctors and have your blood pressure taken. I always think of green grass and nice calming places.
well, it's a terrible example for me because I get white coat syndrome, so
Yeah.
I certainly look like I ought to be in the OR. But anyway, moving swiftly on. But yes, I see what you mean. Calming yourself down is critical. I have one last question, really. How would an exec measure to themselves after a branding shoot to know if it actually was working? Well, how would they know that the effort and the time that you put in with them resulted in something they can use and wholeheartedly later on down the line?
I think first of all, if they love the images, yeah, that's because then they'll use them.
True.
you know,
Yeah, but
and
I'm not really talking about from their perspective. I mean, they need to know that the outside world now sees them in the light that they want to see them in, right?
well, I work a lot with branding, marketing agencies and branding agencies, so they will communicate that as well. They'll be putting these photos into the right place
Right.
so that they're seen by the right people, and in the right way. And even like just simply on LinkedIn, people will get feedback in the comments saying, "Great photo," or "Oh, I see what you're saying, doing, blah blah blah." So
Yeah.
sometimes that's it, and sometimes it can be as simple as if they have a call to action, people actually pick up the phone or email them or DM them or whatever it is, because that means that those images have connected with the people that they want to connect with.
Right, right.
Brilliant.
I find my hat gets more attention than I do. But anyway, moving on. So look, we've got one last image, which is
The most
really
important.
the pack shot. Here is Joe's got images. Look, she's looking at you very seriously with a camera in her hand, so you know she's very serious about cameras. Are you easily available on LinkedIn? Is this a good place to find you?
Absolutely, yeah. I'm active on LinkedIn. I have a series of newsletters which are featured on my profile, so you can find out more about photography in general and my approach. And yeah, contact me, DM me, or just look out for my posts and comment.
And
And I love the storyteller.
yeah,
And
I was going to say she's
oh,
putting out
sorry,
the
Gareth.
storyteller. That's critical.
Joe,
Yeah,
wonderful.
thank
Won-
you. Well, I mean, the whole thing about artist, photographer, storyteller, my approach to
yeah.
photography all comes from a fine art background. So it's
Right.
fine art photography. I've got a fellowship from the British Institute of Professional Photographers in fine art photography. So everything I do has a creativity about it. And that's what has led me on this journey to where I am now.
Well, it's been an
Fantastic.
absolute joy having you on the show. Valerie, would you have any pithy words to finish up with?
Well, they're not pithy. I was going to say, Joe, you've showcased what you do and who you do it for brilliantly, and that's just been really interesting. And I've learnt things which I like to do every day. Thank you.
You are a personal learning and development specialist. She specializes in getting learning and development for herself as for everyone else. Joe, thank you so much. It's been a joy getting to know you and your images. And to anyone out there, please do hunt down Joe Scott, who's a commercial branding photographer on LinkedIn. Well worth it. Her newsletter is very useful and helpful as well. Make sure you keep tuned in because we've got plenty more to come. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and please try and look after your mental health. Bye bye now.